Hey folks, welcome to another VR video. Today I'm doing something pretty cool. This is Minecraft Middle-earth. You can see the welcome to MCME right here. And there's a useful commands option here. I've learned some of those already. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be walking through Middle-earth, the same Middle-earth that's featured in The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. And right now we're in Bag End, the home of Bilbo Baggins. And there's some other folks around and things you can do here. One of the things we're going to look for is there's a room with a dining room where you can have second breakfast. Ah, there it is. It says Hobbiton Bag End. It says Bag End was originally dug out by Bungo Baggins, the father of Bilbo Baggins. The gardens here were attended by Holman Greenhand, Hamfast Gamgee, and it said some other things, but it went a little bit too fast. Let's see if I can pull that back up. Yes, and later on, Samwise Gamgee. On September 22nd, 3001, Third Age, the Hobbit Hole was given to Frodo. So this is really just a walking tour of the world of Middle-earth, and this was created over a 10-year period so far. And I say so far because the people that worked on this are still working on this. We're going to leave through this green door here. We're going to leave Bag End, and you see these orange footsteps. Those footsteps are the actual footsteps of the path taken by the group known as the Fellowship of the Ring. So we're going to take those footsteps, and we're going to trace them, and I'm going to try to get as far as hopefully Rivendell tonight. Last night I did a bit of a test run as I left Bag End, and I somehow made it through the Mines of Moria without going to Rivendell. I don't know where I took a wrong turn, but I ended up in Lothlorien and my battery died. And I did not realize how immersed I would get in the Shire here and the other locations that are available within this application. It is so breathtaking. It's just Minecraft, mind you. It's just blocks and voxels. But as a walking simulator, this is honestly one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. So because I enjoyed this so much, I wanted to go ahead and go back into it and make a video of it. Now, it's the holiday season. The Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit play non-stop pretty much. Usually on TNT or TBS, here in the United States at least. But I never thought I'd be able to actually, without going to New Zealand, step into those films. And I really like the implementation that they have here. Again, we're just following these footsteps. And the path taken by those travelers heading through Middle-earth on a quest with the One Ring. Now, you can actually create your own fellowships as well. There are people frequently traveling these same paths. And last night, at least, I had a couple of folks join me in my footsteps here. So you never know what might turn up on this path through and this exploration. But as you can see, I'm in a forest right now. I haven't yet left Hobbiton. The hobbits, of course, went toward Bree, where they were supposed to rendezvous with Gandalf. And you can see some more settlement over there. But all of these forests, eventually we'll see other land masses, water, waterfalls, buildings, cities, everything here has been handcrafted by folks over the past decade in Minecraft. Now, to get into the server, I will put the address. You do need to have the Java version of Minecraft. I'm currently running Vivecraft, and I'm playing in virtual desktop on my Quest 2. So this is completely wireless, but it's a multiplayer server. You cannot download the map. If you do, you will get banned if you attempt to do that. This is free to play. There's no monetary transaction outside of the purchase of Minecraft. But check out this water over here. It's so cool. Just a pond. Some waterfalls over there. It's awesome. But there is a quiz when you first log on to the server, and then you start out here in Bag End in Hobbiton, just like I just spawned. I reset, essentially. You can warp, as it says on the screen in front of me right now. Someone just warped to Minas Tirith, but I'm in this for the actual tour, following in the footsteps of the Fellowship. There are people that will roleplay with you. There are people that may want to go on an adventure with you, and there are people that may want to be left alone. But I had a lot of fun last night. I decided it was best to go ahead and jump back in and start over, retrace my footsteps, maybe not take a wrong turn, and get to Rivendell. So that's my goal for tonight, is to do my best to, before my quest that is completely charged has a battery die, get all the way to Rivendell. Now, you can go at whatever pace you want to. You don't have to follow these footprints. The map is gigantic. What I found last night is I ended up getting lost in the mines of Moria. It was dark. I didn't know how to turn the light up. Thankfully, I had some help. I asked on the server what I could do to make the inside of the mines a little bit more bright, and they gave me a server command to make it more visible. But in that time, I got myself turned around. I lost the footprint path, and I ended up finding a Balrog. It was intimidating, to say the least. Now, this is not a survival server. From what I understand, they actually do have Tuckborough and Woodhall here, and what's this other? What's that say? Stock. So there is a summer survival event where they actually turn on survival mode. You can opt into it. Of course, it is not summer currently, so that mode is not turned on. I'm looking for the footprints here. Looks like they're down here. But a friend of mine, Paradise Decay, actually played this fairly recently, and I watched his video, and I was like, that's a cool setup. I want to check it out. And I figured I would just drop in, spend a little bit of time, maybe in the Shire, maybe teleport around. But I found myself taking this path, following in these footsteps. And the main draw for this particular server is this walking tour. And I had a ton of fun, so I wanted to jump back in, share a little bit with my audience, and hopefully introduce you to this very cool. So we're now in Woody End. Gildor Inglorian and his company of elves were traveling from Emberade when they crossed paths with Frodo, Sam, and Pippin. They decided to camp here above Woodhall in the Woody End together. So we're going to go ahead and get to their campsite at the top here, which is very cool. They built that campsite right here. Another thing that people have suggested is reenacting the battles or reenacting specific scenes from the movies. And if you get enough people together, especially in virtual reality, you could totally make a very cool, have one person be the cameraman and act out the scenes, because you do have arm motion within the game, so you can be a bit more animated. And of course, you can create Minecraft skins of any character, really. My current character is actually my Disney character, so that's not really a option for me. Nice little bed per se here with a candlelight. But I spent a lot of time in amusement parks, Disneyland, Disney World, even Kennywood Park, which was my home amusement park growing up as a kid in Minecraft. And I thought it was really because of the rides, but I'm finding that just this walking, even though I'm just using thumbsticks, is super relaxing and a ton of fun. And this server is just simply gorgeous. Like, look at that water just babble like a babbling brook there. It's so cool. And you're gonna see it just gets better and better once we get out of the woods. We're not out of the woods just yet. But I like that along the way, you're kind of rewarded with those little narrative bits. You can actually turn on an audio narration, but it also reads out all of these chats from other people. It looks like somebody's actually trying to hack the server as I'm playing through right now. That's not going to get them very far. There seemed to be a very good moderation and support team of people not just building, but also onboarding new players. I learned the different commands to make these bright orange footprints. Initially, the footprints are not bright orange and not as obvious. So if you feel like it's distracting to follow orange footprints, you can turn that off. In fact, that's not even the default feature. The default feature has them as like a dark brown color. So as you see, there's water here. There's no footprints in the water, but you do have to cross the water to get to the next set of footprints over here. So we're going to do just that. So they'd use some type of a speed hack, it looks like. And there are challenges as you get further into the server. I'm really just focused on the tour today, so we're not going to do any of those challenges today. Lots of mini games, but not really a lot of interaction. Like, there's no mine cart rides or things of that nature. You don't have to avoid whites. You don't have to worry about enemies. It's really going at your own pace. Now, going at my own pace, there are two paths here, as you can see. One that goes to the left and one that goes to the right. I'm going to start out going to the left here. To the right, rather. This is Ban Furlong, the Marish. It's Farmer Maggot's farm. Frodo, Sam, and Pippin meet Farmer Maggot on their journey to Crick Hollow when looking to avoid the Black Riders. So that's where we are just now, is at that farm, and there are others here as well. We're going to go ahead and go into their home. Sit by the fire for a moment. Hello. And then we'll head back out. So it can get confusing because there are footprints now going in both directions. It looks like over here there are 3 dogs maybe, Grip, Wolf, and Fang. And then we'll go ahead and head out. I love how those doors just kind of open up on their own. Some of the doors need something a little bit different to make them open up, which I don't think we're going to get to the Mines of Moria, but if you're familiar with Lord of the Rings, there's a door that needs you to say a specific phrase. That is absolutely included. It's very true to the books. The Brandywine now here. Buckleberry Ferry, located 20 miles south of the Brandywine Bridge. This is where Frodo, Sam, and Pippin cross the Brandywine into Buckland. Now, there's no ferry here, unfortunately. But we can cross just like this, underwater here. And we'll pick up that path now. And now we're in Sandalf, small village in the southern regions of Buckland. It is where the Buckleberry Ferry docked. On the Buckland side, Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin came through on their way towards Bree. And again, you can see the windows of the homes and things of that nature. And now we're in Brandy Hall, the ancestral home of the Brandy Bucks. It is where Frodo stayed after the death of his parents in a boating accident. We can actually go in the door here, see this home. And everything's well furnished. You've got lighting here, table and chairs, some beds for different family members. Of course, the beds are a little shorter because this is Hobbiton still. Double bed. It's very cool. And so many structures that you can explore. It's not just one or two, it's hundreds. I don't think we can go through this door, but I think there's like a path this way, maybe. Yeah, there's a path that we can go into this home. Roaring fireplace. These are openable, but there's not really any items that you can acquire. And now into Buckleberry itself. And according to the comments there, you do sometimes have to exit Moria forcefully. Buckleberry was the chief village of Buckland, lying in the shadow of Buck Hill. It was built about a mile east of the banks of the River Brandywine and is the seat of the Master of Buckland. Could be found here. That all makes sense. Kind of a horse cart here. And I love the detail, even though, again, this is really just built in Minecraft. It feels like a world, an inhabited world, even though, again, no real inhabitants either. But it feels like it's got life to it. And it is immense. I'm going to leave Buckleberry now. You can see the different lighting. It's a little bit darker wood here. And now we're heading into Crick Hollow. And Crick Hollow is the home to which Frodo moved before departing for Rivendell. To divert suspicions of his whereabouts, he left Fatty Bulger here to mind the home. So again, you can walk around this home. There's some bookshelves here, fireplace, simple bedroom here. But it looks and feels like an actual home. Now we continue our journey. And now we're heading into the Old Forest. A place feared by many hobbits. It was thought to be malicious toward hobbits, and they once set fire on the woods. Now, last night I actually had someone following me up till this point, and I unfortunately lost them because this is the spot where I got lost following the original brown-colored footprints. So asking for help, I got the ability to turn on these variant footprints, and when I turned them on, it reloaded the instance, and I had lost my friend, unfortunately. But as you can see, a massive wood here. And again, you've got lighting and shadows that really, if you're looking for these footprints, makes it very hard to see them. Even right now, with the bright orange footprints, it gets harder and harder to see them. We're going to head to the top of this hill here. And you don't have to take these footsteps literally. You can walk however you want to. We're now on the top of Bald Hill, where you can see after you've ascended above the trees and observed the lands around, they were able to spot the Withy Windle from this point. We can actually climb up to the top of the hill here. You can see a bunch of trees and lumber. You can also look down into this pit here, kind of an exit out of the forest. Back down into the darkened section of the forest here. But yeah, I found the folks yesterday super friendly, and as well as helpful to me as a new player, onboarding me as a new player. And that sense of community is really important, especially because there's not really a way to talk to others without using the chat feature within Minecraft. And with Minecraft, it's even more of an isolated instance, unless you're using something like Discord or something of that nature. Let's return this way. It's quite the hike. I do like the ability to control my speed using the touch stick. It's not really easy to do when you're using a mouse and keyboard. But I do feel like this one in particular, this particular server works quite well with Vivecraft. When you get it into Moria, it does mention that you might not be able to teleport around using the Vivecraft mod, but it worked fine for me. You can warp to many locations, and there's actually a map on the MC Middle-earth.com website, so you can see all of the different warp points that you can go to. That's how I knew how to get back to Bag End. If you are in the midst of your tour and you want to continue where you left off, you can just simply exit the server. It actually remembers your location, which is helpful. Look at this waterfall here. It's so cool. You can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it, but I could. And now we're in the Old Forest, and Old Man Willow was thought to be a tree-like ent or a hewhorn. This theory derives from the fact that the Old Forest and Fangorn were once of the same primordial forest that stretched across Middle-earth. Giant, massive willow trees. I'll cross over this water here. See a lamp? Kind of a path up here to a home. This is Tom Bombadil's house, one of the tireless beings of Arda. He was there during the creation of the world, along with other beings such as Treebeard, or Fangorn, as he's also known, and he was known to speak to Farmer Maggot on occasion. So we can enter into his home right here. I thought we could actually open this door, but it doesn't look like it. Then we can follow this path. You can see a stable here. I'm pretty sure you can somehow get into the house. You can peer in at least. Let's see. And now we're going to start going up this hill. Giant rock formation there. And look at this view. It's evening, kind of twilightish, purplish. But you can see the forest there, the mountain range starting here. Just beautiful 360-degree view. It's awesome. It really is. So now we'll go down this side. And again, if we look over here, mountains, Gandalf, as they once said. What's crazy is there's all these different paths, right? We can go this way or that way. I feel like going up here. Because I want another view. Look at that. Simply gorgeous. But there was another path to get here. As you can see, they went all the way down there, too. Different choices you can take for different parts of the path. And this is where things get strange because there was a whole other path to take in the other direction that we've now missed part of this scenic tour. But it definitely gives us a means to come back into this world to check out what we missed. Now, I'm not going to lie, there is a lot of walking. I spent a little over 2.5 hours last night just walking, just exploring these paths, following in the footsteps of some hobbit friends. Now, one of the things that was suggested on the server is to play some specific music. We're still on our way to Bree from the Shire. This is the correct path. So maybe drop in the Lord of the Rings soundtrack or some instrumental adventuresome music on your path to add to the immersion. I don't really want to shut down my video for copyright infringement, so I'm not going to do that right now, but I thought that was a cool idea. As we come up upon a village here, the Shire is behind us now. We're not going to be turning back. And welcome to Bree. The town of Bree sits near the crossing of the Great East Road and the Greenway. It's the home to the Prancing Pony and houses both hobbits and men. The Prancing Pony is where they were supposed to meet up with Gandalf, but they found someone else there instead. Looks like we're going to find someone too. So welcome to the Prancing Pony. and footsteps in all directions. The Prancing Pony has been under the management of the Butterburs for generations. At the time of the War of the Rings, it was under the management of the Barleyman Butterbur, and it is where the hobbits meet Strider. Right here in this kind of dining room area. At least in the movie. Another cart there. Very lived-in village. Now, if I wanted to, I could turn off all of these UI elements as well. I'm leaving them on, but if the little floating cursor is bothering you or the chat is bothering you, you can certainly just walk at your own pace. But then I don't get any of that narrative, and I'm actually enjoying the narration, and sometimes I need to ask for help along the way. Definitely not afraid to ask for directions if I get lost either. I really like this carriage over here we're about to pass. It's very cool looking. Just think that's awesome. A field of crops there. I do not have the creative abilities to build things like this. So every time I go through one of these projects, it amazes me at how detailed and I don't want to say authentic because, it is creative, but they've taken what they imagine to be the world of Middle Earth and they've turned it into this fantastic experience. So we're now leaving Bree, heading for Staddle. I know I'm moving a little bit quickly, which can be a little bit disorienting when you're watching the video. 43:30-ish. All right. But there's a lot of woods and a lot of space to cover. All right. And as you can see, I have lost the footsteps. I'm going to go this way. There we go. There's the path. And again, if you get stuck, there are warp points and teleportation available. Lots of trees, lots of forest, lots to explore. Oh, they've asked if Tom's house exists, and we've answered that question, that it does indeed. Ah, someone gave them the direct. And that's what I like. Like, that's a moderator right there answering that question. But there's also, like, guides and other people helping out as well. We reached another spot, I believe, where they start talking about where we are. This is the Midwater Marshes. This is a region of marshes in central Eriador. Strider led Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin through the area on October 2nd, 3rd Age, 3018. Give me just a moment here to find that key. I want to find, The marshes were named after the insects midges that infest the area. There we go. Now, this isn't anywhere that's dangerous. Later, of course, they cross some more treacherous and deadly water. And even just this little area of the marshes is pretty darn massive when you think about it. This would be a long walk if I was walking without the speed of a controller. But again, just another part of the variety of scenery that you're seeing in this world as well. There's a mountain we're coming up across. We're going to start to scale here. Where are those footprints going? This way. It's almost like a 101 over there. The ruins of something. Doesn't look like we'll get to follow that path, though, unfortunately. Ah, heck with it. I'm going to go up here because I'm curious what it looks like from the top. And it does appear to just be some ruins on a mountain. Not anything too dramatic. Another mountain path, this one a little bit more defined. More well-traveled ground. And those clouds that you see in the sky, in some of the locations as we get higher and higher, you actually go above the clouds. It's very cool. I don't think we do that right now, but we might. Nah, at this point we're kind of going around the mountain. And you'll notice that the path goes up and down. There's a camp here. And then it turns around and goes back in the direction we just were. Trying to find the other route to take, because eventually we get to these footprints that go upward, but then I don't see any other upward footprints. And lo, this is where I get lost sometimes. Okay. Keep going this way. I feel like we've been up here, but these go back up. Now, this is quite a massive area itself, almost like a castle. And we have reached Weathertop now. It's a hill upon the ruins of Amon's Soul. It is the southern hill of the Weather Hills, and at one point, I think right here, has housed a palantir. So now we know why we were at Weathertop and why there are footprints in both directions. Because they got to Weathertop and then they turned around and went back down the other side. I don't see other footprints here. No. But there's a cloud, like I was mentioning before. If we go all the way down the mountain here, you do see more orange footsteps. And this is the direction we had gone through, and I turned back around because I wanted to go up the mountain. So now we'll follow this path. Some confused footsteps. Not sure what direction to take. But eventually these level off and you can actually see the correct direction after getting lost a bunch of times. Feels like I'm backtracking. But as you can see, the footsteps go in both directions. And now they only go in one. And that's probably how I lost my path to Rivendell, because the footsteps diverged, and I followed one path, but there were two. I never went back for the other. I am curious if there's anything up here, since there were footsteps that kind of went on a divergent path. No. Somebody has reached Helm's Deep. We'll just keep continuing to follow this path for right now. And again, one of the things that is a limitation based on the way that I'm playing this right now is battery life, because I'm playing with a completely wireless headset. I'm actually talking using the in-headset microphone as well, broadcasting over Wi-Fi to the headset. So all of that eats up battery life. Uh-oh. Whoops. I don't know what happened there. I fell into some of the grass. Somehow started chopping it up. I did not mean to do that. Now, it said there are no jobs here. What that means is you actually have the ability in some of the areas to help them construct parts that are not yet built as part of this server. So that's an exciting way to actually contribute to this very lengthy project. So if you are skilled at Minecraft building or you want to learn it, they have foremen that will actually work with master builders and teach you how to do just that. Now, by default, I can't do any of that. And I have mentioned it multiple times. Not that creative. So that will not be me. I feel like the whole journey would probably take about 8 hours if you just went nonstop like this. There are battery packs and things of that nature you can add to your headset that would get you there. Or, of course, if you use just a regular PC VR headset. Or if you just went through on regular Minecraft. Not quite as immersive. Not quite at this massive scale, but definitely doable. more of a third person or first person view. Flat screen in front of you, but still pretty impressive. About to cross over a bridge here. This one being a troll bridge, if I remember correctly. Troll Shaws. And I totally skipped going to the description of that there and reading it. The last bridge crossed over the Horwell River in Frodo's flight to Rivendell. This bridge was guarded by the Black Riders who were driven off by Glorfindel. Now, one of the things I found last night that I think I've already gone past and not found was actually the 3 stone trolls, which featured not only in Lord of the Rings, but also The Hobbit. I seem to have missed them in this particular journey. That's another landmark you can find. And I do kind of love the fact that even following this path, it's not a straightforward path, so there's different things you might see each time you go through. It's very cool. Now, I'm also definitely getting a little bit closer to Rivendell, which is my goal in this video. I don't want to get lost this time, so I'm going to try to pay more attention to the footprints. I'm not quite there yet. I feel like that red tree over there is a way that I'd like to go, but that is not the path that it said to take. I want to go back this way and see what it does. No, those all say to go this way. So we're going to follow this path. Now we're going to go up this side of the mountain. Ah, here's the trolls. Bilbo's stone trolls. These stone trolls are named Bert, Tom, and William. And it's these 3 trolls who apprehend Bilbo and the dwarves on their quest for the Lonely Mountain. Only by stalling them do they survive the night. And stalling them turns them to stone. Each one you can see here, this one's got some floral arrangement in it. They all do. I love this. This is a very cool landmark here in the midst here of this world that's being built still. All right. So now if we follow these footprints, back down around this way. And I like that it's a connecting point to other spots in the Third Age, if that makes sense. It's not just Frodo's adventure, but also harkening back a bit. So now we're heading toward High Pass, Bree, of course, is behind us. I feel like there were two paths just back there where we just were. Might have been part of my problem. I might have followed one and missed the other. Might still be the problem right now, actually. But I like that this is really self-guided. There's not an agenda. There's just those little narrative bits as people go through. You can go at whatever pace you want to. You can pick it up. You can... There was a person that said they wanted to explore every bit of the Shire before they left it last night. And I think that's awesome that you actually have the ability to do that. And again, just marveling myself at the majesty of this all, the fact that they built this up. I mean, just look at that mountain with all the trees on it. And there's tons of scenery just like this as we keep going. Now, I also want to mention I'm currently just using default vanilla textures and things of that nature. I do not have the most powerful graphics card in the world. I am getting a new computer at the end of the month. So I might actually start playing Minecraft with some shaders or some RTX textures or things of that nature, which will make it even more realistic because it flattens out some of these voxels and things of that nature and really gives it a new coat of paint and shine to it. And this does support different shaders and things of that nature. Of course, some shaders do break functionality, so be careful what you do try. And make sure, go out to their website and make sure it's something that's approved. And if you're not sure, ask one of the moderators or guides their opinion, or check out their forums. Their forums are also pretty helpful as well. I learned some of the commands that I used last night using their forum. Just, again, in VR, being able to turn your head and just peer at the majesty of these things. It's amazing. It's such an epic scale, being able to basically trek across Middle-earth, maybe with a ring around your neck. Bit of a cave here. Now this one, both last night and today, it doesn't really say where I'm at. We turn around, can see the trees behind it. It's awesome. Now here is where the hobbits fell into some danger at one point. The Brunian Ford, where Frodo and company were ambushed by the Black Riders. Upon noticing them, Frodo was put on Glorfindel's white steed and rushed across the ford. They were swept away up the river, thanks to Elrond and Gandalf. So this is definitely the spot where I got lost last night. Now, as we go here, there are footsteps that go in this direction. And then there are footsteps that go in this direction. And one hopes that I find the correct direction this time on our way to Rivendell. Because I think what happened yesterday, I made a wrong turn, followed a different set of footprints, and skipped a vital step in our mission. So Bree, the Shire, Grey Havens, High Pass, Mirkwood, and Laketown are in that direction. So if we go over here, this is not the direction that I took last night. But that's a direction we could take today. Austin, Edbull, Tharbed, and Londare, and then Rohan and Gondor. So 2 different paths here. This one goes up. That one goes, well, not up, but down. I'm going to try going up this time. Let's see where this takes us. As you can see, there's footprints in literally every direction, so it's kind of a challenging path to take. And I don't know if I went the right way. So I did check the map. I'm not entirely lost. But I'm not sure that I'm entirely found either. So many footprints. And so many different directions to go in as well. Go up this way. And apparently get lost. For I have lost all the footprints. There's some more. And again, they're going in so many different directions. It's hard for me to tell which way is the correct way. Whoa! And we have just sunk into the water. Head over this way. And now I'm going to check again where we are. Now there are mods. You can add a mini map and other things as you go. Oops. So many footsteps. Whoops. All right, so now we're headed up this mountain or down this mountain. Again, depending on the footsteps. See where they take us. Up into the clouds. Have I missed anywhere here is the question. Doesn't look like it. And we have reached Rivendell. This is where the last homely house east of the sea is located. The elves have lived here since 1697 SA, Second Age, when Elrond first provided them with refuge from the original war with Sauron. So I have reached Rivendell. You can start to see some of the buildings and homes here. It is funny, though, that I absolutely needed a map to make sure that I didn't get lost on the way here. Because there are so many different divergent paths. As you can see, even here, there are divergent paths. I have a pretty good idea of where I'm going, though. There's a bridge over here. We're going to go make council with Elrond. Heading up into this structure here. I'm going to get to the top here, and I just want to look down and look at that awesome building there. It's just, this is insane. So we're going to go up. I think this is the right way. Can't tell, actually. Well, let's go in. Let's find out. Maybe not. May have a bit further to go. Again, tons of footprints going in different directions. Head this way. And just that waterfall there. And another giant piece of the puzzle, as it were. Curious where this spiral-bound staircase takes us. First of these that I've seen in the game. Quite the home, if I do say so. Pretty magnificent. Go outside onto the roof here, chill. I don't want to fall. It's pretty awesome. Let's go back down here. And again, all of these buildings just, they're so cool. Let's head this way. And I think you get the general gist of what's going on here. Do one more building here. We've already been this way, actually. Yeah, that's the way we've been. But this is Rivendell. And this is fantastic. What happens if we go up here? Anything? Anything exciting at the top of this hill? Probably not. I don't know. This place is cool. It's not really on the map. And now we're kind of in the clouds above that waterfall. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. This trek from Bag End to Rivendell. The beginnings of the adventure recreated from Lord of the Rings. This is just a fantastic world to inhabit. And I will probably spend a lot more time here in the future. I will probably not make a bunch of videos of it. Let's see what happens when we go this way. But here it is. The Council of Elrond. This is where the council took place. The attendees of the council included Gandalf, Gloin, Frodo, Glorfindel, and Galador. And that's the one ring in front of me. So, here we are, about to begin our quest as the Fellowship. I see a couple of folks here. R1 Batman and D Sweet 3. Until next time, get out there and enjoy some VR for yourself. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.